We take them out.
There we go. There it is. Recording in progress.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello, everybody. Admit, 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 admit. As always, if you want to turn your camera on, feel free, but don't feel like you have to. Welcome. It is very cold out, very cold, very snowy. Hopefully you all had an excellent holiday. Did anyone do anything super fun over the holiday they want to mention? I did nothing, literally, absolutely nothing. And it was glorious.
Does being sick count?
Oh, Sarah was just saying that she was feeling sick too.
Mhm.
Gross. No, sick doesn't count. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of random, weird, gross things kicking around.
Are you feeling better, Beth and Sydney? Good, good. Yeah.
Good,
Mm-hmm.
good. Excellent. Good. Well, it's been a while, and I'm sad that I missed my favorite episode of this show, which was the food episode. Did you talk about delightful food things while I was gone in London?
We sure did, and we said
Yay!
we said that you might come back with some your specialties that you sampled that you'd like to share, maybe.
Yes, I totally did. I went to London. I was there over Thanksgiving holiday, and I brought my whole family, which was very interesting because one of my kiddos is very adventurous with regards to food, and the other one is not. He hates everything but chicken nuggets and chicken tenders, essentially. So it was a little bit hard to go to London. There's so much food there. Everything was so delicious.
Sorry.
But he would not eat anything. So that was annoying. But he did eat fish and chips.
Yeah, I have it on. I just need to.
Oh, I'm gonna mute you, Cromlins. So yes, we did have a lot of things. I was looking back in my pictures, and I usually take some pretty decent pictures of food, and I don't think I took a single picture of food, which was not smart of me to do. So we had a lot of fish and chips. And if you are a fan of fish and chips here in the United States, their fish and chips is like fish and chips like gone crazy. My son probably ate a piece of haddock, like fresh haddock, that was this big. It was massive. And we ate it on a street. We just sat down on a curb and ate it. And it was wonderful. It was hot, fresh oil, fresh chips. Fresh fish, of course, they call fries chips there, and then they call chips crisps as well, which took some getting used to. So there was a ton of that. We went to a place called Borough Market. So Borough Market was right near where everything was, and it was all these like stalls of food. So they had like a fish market there with fresh fish, and you could buy like octopus and sides of fish and all the things. They had cheeses, sausages, and olives. They had baked goods. It was wonderful. So we just walked through and we bought all the things that we wanted to try and eat, and we ate them. My son had the fish and chips, obviously, like I said, the big piece of haddock. And you could pick from haddock or cod, which are very similar in my opinion, but the haddock that was over there tasted a little bit more fishy than the cod. So both are like a white fish. But the haddock was definitely more fishy, and it had that like gray skin on it, and it was
fish and French fries, and then chips.
Yes. So yes, chips are crisps, fries are chips. It's hard to keep track of. We also went on a double-decker bus that was a afternoon tea double-decker bus. And so it was a ton of like little tiny finger sandwiches, and some had like cucumbers and salmon. There were macarons, which were delicious. They're little French cookies. There were cupcakes, and there was tea and hot cocoa. There was a whole bunch of stuff. London is actually, there's more food there and more like variety of food than I thought there was going to be, which was wonderful. I did not have any sort of takeaway, like a Chinese takeaway or a Thai or Indian food takeaway, which I know that London is sort of famous for. So I kind of regret that. But maybe we'll try it when we go over the summertime. Let's see, what else? What else did I eat? I ate a pie. It was like a cottage pie, but it had leeks. Potatoes and leeks and chicken in it. It was huge, and it was in this like crock, and it had leeks and potatoes and chicken, and then there was like a crust over the top of it. I had, what do we have for desserts, Chris?
Did you get this?
Oh, sticky toffee pudding. I did eat some sticky toffee pudding and it was glorious. And I cannot wait to go back and eat it. One time, we went to dinner and I did not eat dinner. I just ate the sticky toffee pudding and that was it.
Sounds like a good plan.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It's made with dates. I didn't realize that, but it popped up like of course, my iPhone was listening to me. So it popped up and it was like, here, you can make this at your house. I don't think I will. I'm going to wait till I go back to London. But anyways, so that was good. We had something called, one of you is going to know what this is. It's like a prolifertary, I don't know what, it was like a donut and it had ice cream in the middle and then it had chocolate over the top of it and you dipped it in caramel sauce. I saw it on the Great British Baking Show. They had to make it one time, but I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like a proliferary or something. That's definitely wrong. Anyways, long story short, it was delicious. There's a ton of great food options in London. So no matter what you're interested, no matter what you're into, you're going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. It's fantastic. I didn't get to eat a Yorkshire pudding. I would like to eat a Yorkshire pudding. So the day we showed up was Thanksgiving. And they decided that because we were all Americans, that they would serve us like an American Thanksgiving dinner, which was really nice. So they had like turkey and root vegetables and gravy and things like that. But honestly, I was like, I just want some like British food. Like, I don't want turkey. I'm gonna eat turkey at my house right now. But anyways, does anyone have any questions about food, or are you looking forward to trying anything? Do you know what a proliferary is? That can't be right. I don't know what I'm saying. Does anyone know what that is that I'm trying to say, but I can't? It's not proliferary. Maybe it is. I don't know what it is. Anyways, it's delicious. There's a lot of awesome, like random candies and snack foods there as well. I usually try to try like a different kind of Kit Kat, which they had different kinds of Kit Kats in Japan, or Pringles. They have prawn flavored Pringles, and which prawn are like little shrimps. They have paprika flavored Pringles, which is interesting as well. So there's all kinds of interesting and weird things for us to try when we go over there. And I'm excited to eat more with you all, because my favorite part of every and all trip that I ever take. Profiterole.
Profiterole. Oh, yes.
Profiterole.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, they're delicious. Profiterole. That's it. Okay. I'm gonna have to replay that in my brain so that I remember it from now on. But anyways, so I also did some of the things that we're gonna do. I went on the London Eye, which was super cool. It moves incredibly slowly and it never stops, which I didn't realize. So we got up to it and it was still moving and they're like, okay, get on. And we're like, what? It was moving. And so we had to like run and like jump onto it as it was moving. It doesn't ever stop, which I thought was pretty cool. What other cool things did we do? It's very walkable. It's pretty hilly, which I didn't realize. For some reason, I thought London was very flat, which it's not. It's a little bit hilly. So keep that in mind as we're walking around. There are lots of things that are next to each other. It's very like a very walkable city. So we went to the Tower of London. I think we're going to the Tower of London while we're there as well. We saw the Crown Jewels, which was super cool. All the Crown Jewels are located at the Tower of London. The ravens were there. I don't know if you've ever heard of the ravens that live at the Tower of London. They are massive and they just hang out there and the dude feeds them and like they fly around and it's a thing apparently. So that was there. We visited the Tower or the London Bridge. That was super cool. It just made me really excited for all of us to go and experience this together. I'm very, very happy to go in the summertime as well. It was wintertime there, but it was a little bit cold and it was definitely raining. So the one thing I will say is we should bring umbrellas and or raincoats when we go, because Jamie, our tour director for this trip, said we had one day of like kind of sunny weather and he was like, this is it for the whole year. You have like the one sunny day. Every other day it's literally raining every day in London. So definitely want to make sure we bring raincoats and umbrellas. And I didn't pack one because I was like, how much could it really rain? I'm sure it's like more of a mist. No, it was like a driving rain pretty much the whole time we were there. So
Good to know.
Yeah, very exciting. Does that spark any questions from anyone about London?
I have a question for you, Liz. So
yeah.
When you were there, like how, like in the folks that live in London, how were they dressed?
Oh, just like us. There were a lot of It's pretty cash, like a lot of tracksuits and like Nike apparel. Adidas is pretty big over there too. I went to a Nike store that was 8 stories tall.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of Nike apparel. On Black Friday, we definitely did that. I don't know what we were thinking about. So it's super casual. Jeans, coats. There are a lot of like big coats. It was basically like walking around New York City.
We won't stick out with
essentially.
our sneakers on like in
You will
some
not
cities,
stick out
right?
with your sneakers on, no. And I definitely would highly recommend definitely wearing some trainers, as they call them in England, because there's a ton of walking. My favorite
Right.
candy that is not in America. What candy did I try? They have a ton of Haribo gummies. If you like the Haribo like gummy bears, they have so many different kinds of Haribo gummies that we just kept buying them. So you buy them and eat them. I love like things like Sour Patch Kids and Nerds Clusters and things like that. I'm not like a big chocolate person, so I like those like sour and gummy kind of things.
Cadbury.
Oh my gosh, except for the Cadbury chocolate, which was delicious. Yes, that's definitely key. But if you like things that are like gummy, licoricey, gummy, that sort of thing, I think you're gonna like the candy choices that are over there. I didn't eat a ton of chocolate. I don't think I ate any chocolate. But I definitely ate a lot of Haribo gummies. So I think that was my favorite.
I'm excited for the tea because I'm a big tea drinker, so I'm really excited for that.
Yep, lots of tea. So it's also loose leaf tea, which I'm not used to. Yeah, because I'm used to like just a Lipton tea bag. I'm not a huge tea drinker. I like to drink coffee, which I didn't know if I would be able to get coffee there. And we were able to. Coffee is a thing. Like it's getting bigger in London. They have more of a coffee culture than they used to. But the tea is loose leaf, which I thought was really neat. So everywhere you go, you see those little like tea strainers. And I actually got myself a yellow submarine tea strainer, which I brought home with us, and some loose leaf tea as well. So yeah, there's a lot of good tea. For
Is
breakfast,
anyone else a tea drinker with me? Anyone else? Oh, we got a couple.
Yes,
We're gonna
I
drink
am.
some tea. I'm
Yep.
looking forward to drinking some tea with you guys.
yep, all the tea. It's gonna be good. And bring some tea home. I brought some loose leaf tea home, and it's in a little like one of those, those iconic red telephone boxes that are
Oh yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, brought one of those home. The breakfast is your typical English breakfast. We stayed at a hotel, just like the kind that we're going to be staying at when we're there over the summertime. And it was
Did you have
hash
beans?
browns.
Did you have beans and
You've ever been like
tomatoes?
overseas and seen those like triangle-y kind of potato hash browns, which are the top level key hash brown to have on your breakfast. They had those, they had sausages, they had grilled tomatoes, beans. There was a ton of beans all over the place. Toast, obviously tea, and then eggs. And the nice thing about English breakfast is there's like all different kinds of eggs. Like you can get a funny side up egg or scrambled eggs. They have hard boiled eggs, which is going to be good for your protein boost in the morning. What else? We did try McDonald's while we were over there. My son Henry, the chicken tender aficionado, enjoyed it because they have chicken tenders on the menu over there. So he enjoyed it quite a bit. And he was like, it's so fancy. There's like an upstairs and a downstairs, and it was open 24/7. They had chicken tenders on it. It was wonderful. The only reason he enjoyed London is for the chicken tenders, I think, at the McDonald's. Any other questions about the food? I will say the one thing that I was surprised about was that there's a ton of traffic in London. So we were on the bus for quite a long time. So just prepare yourself, I guess, mentally for that. If you want to download music onto your phone or your whatever you're bringing, books, I would probably bring books if that doesn't make you car sick. That sort of thing, because we probably will be on our bus for a good part of time as we're traveling around. And it wasn't that things were really far away from each other. It just, there were so many cars and so much traffic that we were sitting in it for a while. So that was something that I noticed.
Was it hard to get used to them being on the opposite side of the road?
No,
Like
it's
as a
pretty funny.
passenger? Yeah.
I definitely went to the wrong side of the bus a couple of times. I was like, where's the door? Yep. But so you get used to that pretty quickly. And then the other thing is when you're walking, you have to look the other way. So when you're crossing the street, and they have on the ground, they have arrows and it's painted and they have big signs because obviously there's a lot of tourists, and it says, look left, or right, or whichever way which way would you look? look right instead of looking left or whatever. Because I feel like they have a lot of incidences over there because you're not used to looking the wrong way for traffic coming towards you. So there's a lot of signage.
That's
Yep.
cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So the other thing I'll mention, just like is going to happen over this summer, is that our plane, we flew American Airlines and it was great. We got in at 6:45 in the morning or so, and we could not get into our hotel until 4 o'clock that afternoon. So this is going to happen on our trip as well. So we'll fly probably into the Shannon Airport sometime in the morning. We'll get to the airport and fly overnight and get to the Shannon Airport in the morning. And then it's very likely, which is exactly what happened this time around, that we're going to hop on the bus. We're going to take our luggage to the hotel. They're going to lock it in a room for us. And then we are going to go out and about into probably Shannon or whatever, go to a castle, have lunch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then not get back and check into our hotel until the evening, probably after dinner. We didn't check into our hotel on that first night until almost 10 o'clock at night.
It's a good reminder that we're doing carry on.
Carry on only. Yep, carry on only. So the nice thing about this trip, though, is that it's going to be summertime. So we were packing some pretty bulky things, winter gear and pants and, boots and things like that. And we probably won't have that, although it's not going to be as hot, I don't think, as we expect it to be in the United States. But yes, carry on only is very, very important. So did I hear different languages? I did not hear very many different languages. I heard a lot of different accents, and some were incredibly difficult to understand. We ended up going to see Matilda on like an off-Broadway kind of scenario. And if you ever get a chance to see Matilda, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it very much. But the two, and if you've ever seen the movie, Matilda's parents in the movie, they in this play were played by like some Cockney actors, and I could not understand a single word that they were saying. They were definitely speaking English, but their accent was so thick, I had no idea what they were saying. But luckily I saw the movie, so I like knew what was happening, but I couldn't catch it at all. Quick tip for packing with a carry-on: pack your items 2 gallons of bed. Oh yeah,
They're like 2-gallon bags. I went to Costa Rica with some Girl Scouts 2 years ago, and I used a 2-gallon bags. You get them right at Walmart. You can order them online, I'm sure. But I think I got 10, and I went in this. It was nice weather as well, so we packed our shorts and t-shirts. We rolled them right up, and we took the air out, and it made it much easier to pack. Just so everyone, a little quick tip. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys too.
Yep. Just the one carry-on and a personal item.
So I took my carry-on with my backpack.
Yep.
So I put my little, my little
and
bag.
Deb Schwarting, she's traveled with me before. Well, Beth, you guys have traveled. Trista's traveled with us. You can do it. We know you can do it. Oh, Catherine. So Catherine, I know I'm in the background of Catherine's thing here because she's got something else going on, but I always use Catherine as an example when we traveled to Italy together because she purchased the largest piece of luggage I've ever seen in Rome and spent the trip packing it full of stuff, and then checked it on the way back, and it was wonderful. It was a lot, but that was a good thing to do because she just packed it full of souvenirs and extra clothing and things that she didn't want, and she checked it on the way back, and it was great. So it's pretty funny.
I hear it too, guys. I'm super excited about this. In Ireland, if we find a store and you want to get an Irish sweater, that they'll ship it for you, which is awesome too. So hopefully we'll find a store like that they'll just ship it right back for you, which is nice.
Yep, because those wool sweaters are bulky, pretty bulky.
That's my goal.
Excellent. I love it. Great. Any other questions or comments or concerns about anything before we get into money? I figured we would talk about money, and that was on our original plan, having just come back, and I have a few things to say about it since I just sort of experienced it being there. So I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint presentation here because I do have a couple of slides to keep us on track. And you'll have to tell me if my if any part of it is being blocked. Because I think sometimes, no. And can you see
Yep.
my Mo money?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Woo! And it is 190 days today until our tour. So very exciting. And I'm excited to finally be in the same year that our tour is. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So let's talk a little bit about money. Today, we will be talking about a tale of two currencies, the euro and the British pound. So for this trip, unfortunately, we are going to be dealing with two different currencies. However, I think it's going to be very, very doable for a variety of reasons, which I'm about to explain to you. So in Ireland, when we get into Ireland, Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom, as we mentioned before, and you all know that by now. Ireland is its own country. So they use the euro. They're part of the European Union, and euros are getting about 97 cents to the US dollar right now, which is great. This is going to change as we get closer. So that number changes day by day, depending on how the markets are doing. So as we get closer, you can check. I'm hoping that it stays about the same, because it means that when you're exchanging money or when you're using euros in Ireland, it's essentially a dollar to a dollar at this point, which is fantastic. So things are not going to be wildly more expensive than you think they are. And you're not going to have to do a whole lot of math in order to figure out how much money you need in order to use euros. So I would imagine that we probably might use a little bit more cash in Ireland than England, because we are going to be visiting sort of smaller towns in Ireland along the way. So if you're going to get any kind of currency for this trip, I would recommend getting some euro. You can exchange it at your bank. I have Bank of America, and I usually just order it. It takes them 3 days, and they ship it right to my house. There is an exchange rate, so I do pay a little bit extra to get that euro currency. So just keep that in mind when you're exchanging. You also, if you're in the Syracuse area, I know that there's a place in Brewerton, area, and I believe that they'll exchange euros for dollars for like a flat rate. And I think the flat rate is a little bit better than what you would get from a bank if they're going to charge you. If you're not in the Syracuse area, you can always just type in to your Google, currency exchange in my area, and you can figure it out from there. You also can use the ATM in the Shannon Airport when we land. That might actually just be the easiest way to do it if you have a debit card that you plan on bringing. It probably will give you the best exchange rate anyways, and you won't have to worry about getting it beforehand. You can just do it right when we get into the country. For Wales and England, they're both in the United Kingdom, obviously, so they're going to be using the British pound. Unfortunately, the British pound, the US dollar is really weak to the British pound right now, so you're getting about 81 cents per pound to the US dollar, which means that things are going to be a lot more expensive in the United Kingdom, in Wales, in England, than they're going to be in Ireland, because our dollars are almost the same as a euro right now. So this past time going to London, I was surprised at how expensive things are in the London area. I imagine they're not going to be as expensive in Wales, in Holyhead, and then as we get into like the Stratford upon Avon and like a little bit north. But once we get into London, I think it's probably going to be the most expensive part of our trip. I barely used any cash on our trip to London. I was concerned. I took probably $250 or so out of British pounds, and I regret it. I wouldn't have done it again, given the option. I thought that I would be using it in places like the market and the borough market, where all those food stalls are. They did not deal with cash. Everybody had a square. And so anytime, like I bought a chunk of cheese for like £3, and I had the £3 in my pocket, and I was ready to give him the cash for it. And he was like, nope, I don't take cash. Nobody takes cash. So I regret taking out as much cash as I did. It's totally up to you and your comfort level. But I would say that in my current experience, credit card is the way to go in England. I imagine, like I said, you might use more cash in Ireland as you go. Obviously, if you're going to stores, grocery stores, convenience stores, McDonald's, that sort of thing, you can use cash in those places as well. But I was surprised at how many places did not take cash while we were there. Can you think of anywhere else, Chris, that didn't take cash? Mostly like the places where I wanted to eat, like the guy on the street with a cart, which is like my favorite, who I assumed would only take cash, did not. They had squares. So Yeah, we only use cash for like tipping and things like that. So that's about it. So there you go. So why are you going to need cash monies? So pre-trip, I'm going to be collecting tips from you. So we will have a tour director, tour guides. We're taking like a Harry Potter walking tour of London, and that might involve a local tour guide that's going to walk around with us, that sort of thing. When we go to Shakespeare's town and walk around in Stratford upon Avon, we might have a local tour guide. Probably we're going to go see a sheepdog situation in Ireland. And if that's a guided type thing, we might have to tip those folks. So those are people that we're tipping. And then we're also tipping the bus driver. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the presentation here. So on trip, the only reason that you're going to need money are souvenirs, lunches, and any kind of snacks or water that you might want to bring with you. And of course, I always recommend bringing a reusable water bottle. And we were able to drink out of the faucet in London as well. So there you go. So I just learned this. I love it. It's my new favorite tip and trick. If you have an iPhone, which some of you may have an iPhone, it has a currency converter on it now. So if you go into the calculator app on your iPhone, it's in your settings. I use mine a lot, but go into your calculator app. On the bottom left-hand corner of your calculator app is a little tiny calculator. If you click on it, at the bottom of the toggle that comes up, it says convert. And if you click on the convert, it will convert your US dollar to any currency in the world that you want it to. You just have to choose. So in the top part of it is going to be US dollar. In the bottom part of it, if you click on it, you can pretty much look up anything. Egyptian pound, the Guyanese dollar, Indian rupee, Jordanian dinar, but for our purposes, obviously the British pound and the euro. So that's where I got that number, 81 cents on the dollar today. And because your iPhone is connected to the interwebs, it's going to update itself and give you the most up-to-date conversion on your money. Anybody try it? So easy, so easy. This would have been really great in London when I was just swiping my credit card, having zero idea what I was paying for things. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't know at this point, and I'm just going to pay my credit card bill and it's going to be totally fine. But if you're in a shop and you want to use cash, and you really have to think about how much money you might need to purchase something, this calculator app on the iPhone, this new iteration of it, is just very cool. So I'm sorry, Android and Samsung, if you have those types of phones, maybe there's something similar on there. I just don't know about it. So if you have those types of phones and you find it, let us know. Let me see. So spending money, as I mentioned, you're going to need money for lunches and snacks. Breakfast and dinners are included on the itinerary and in the money that we're paying. So you will not have to worry about breakfast and dinner. We are on our own for lunches. So lunches are a great opportunity for us to try new things. Try things that might not be on the menu. So probably what I'm going to ask our tour director to tell us is what we're having for dinner or where we're going for dinner. For dinner, it's typically a preset menu. So on the trip that I just took, we knew that one night for dinner, we were going to have the cottage pie with chicken, leeks, and potatoes. Calamari was the appetizer. What's it called? Profiterole was the dessert, and he told us ahead of time, so we knew. So he said, if you're going to go out and about in London, don't eat that for lunch because we're definitely having that for dinner. So we will know what we're going to have for dinner ahead of time. And fish and chips wasn't on the menu, so that's what we had for lunch because that's what we wanted to eat. So breakfast is usually your English breakfast. It's always at a hotel. It's not going to be anything weird or crazy. It's going to be, cereal and coffee and eggs and that sort of thing. I would expect. Go ahead, Sarah.
There's a question in the chat that says, are there any credit cards that you might be aware of that they do not accept?
No. Did they accept Discover American Express? They did, right?
Every once in a while, American Express.
Every now and again, American Express, that's our preferred international because we get a lot of points for that one. Sometimes it took a couple minutes or it took a second swipe or a second chip to get it to recognize an American Express. And some didn't take American Express at all. So if you have MasterCard or Visa, you're probably better off. American Express is good mostly. But in some places it's hit and miss, I would say. And probably I would imagine it's going to be more so like that in Ireland than it will be in London.
And there's one more question, Liz, that says, will there be some vegetarian options for folks?
Yes. Yes. So as we get closer, you will be telling me your preferences and your allergies. So if you are a vegetarian, if you're a vegan, if you're a pescatarian, if you're allergic to anything, you're going to send me an email with all of that information in it. And we're going to make sure that there's something for you to eat that does not aggravate your allergies and or that is in line with your dietary preferences. So yes, absolutely. Yep. I would say to expect between 15 25 pounds per lunch per day. Because like I said, especially in England, things were a little bit more expensive. I imagine in Ireland, lunches would be a little bit less expensive than that and a little bit more in line with what we are going to be paying per dollar. And then for souvenirs, we just bought random little things, magnets, ornaments. It was Christmas time. Like playing cards. There were a couple of like, I bought like London Snap and some other different card games to play.
You might want to bring some card games with you to play with your friends too.
Yep.
We found that to be pretty fun when we went to Costa Rica in the evening sometimes, and I learned a new game, so it was really fun. And then we bought some for our house, so your friends might bring something that you haven't played before. So
yeah, we're into taco cat goat pizza cheese whatever that game is. That's what's on the docket here in my house currently. But Uno is great as well. Uno is pretty good. Pitch, we could start a pitch tournament on the trip and play some pitch. Anyways, so any kind of souvenir that you think you might want, sweaters, obviously a wool sweater from Ireland is probably going to be a little bit more expensive than your magnet or your ornament. If you plan on purchasing things like Waterford crystal or lace, that might be a little bit more expensive, but I imagine you're going to use credit card for that kind of thing, those sort of purchases. So we were able to use cash. We bought a lot of these souvenirs with just cash. So some of the coolest stuff we got actually was in the gift shop for the Tower of London. Not the Tower of London, the London Bridge. We bought a lot of our stuff there, so that was pretty cool.
There's a question from this is how many days specifically? I'm not exactly sure what you mean, my friend. Do you want to unmute and ask? It was Patricia.
Oops.
Oh,
I'm trying to get to my chat here. Hold on.
that's okay.
Taco goat taco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I always lose. I can't get it right. How many days was it? So we're going to be in Ireland. I'd have to bring up the itinerary. We're going to be in Ireland for about half the time, and then Wales for like 2 days, I think, and then London for the rest of the time.
So just to know how many days for the lunches.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
got it. And that if you go into your account, your EF account, our itinerary is in there as well. Sometimes the tour director, this was the case, I know in Costa Rica, I think a couple of times, and then definitely in the Galapagos in Ecuador, lunches were included for us on some of them. And then one time they didn't have a dinner, something happened with the dinner. And so our tour director gave us cash and said, here, your dinner is going to be on your own tonight. So sorry, but here's like $20 cash for your dinner. And we were able to do that. So as we get a little bit closer, our tour director is going to be able to give us exactly what's going to be happening. And if meals are included or not included, when they should be or shouldn't be, that sort of thing. So you can probably count on 10 days worth of lunches. So we're going to be in the airport that first day. We're going to be in Ireland for the next 4, London, Wales, England-ish for the next 4 with like a day in the middle. And then airport the 10th day as well. So you're going to want to make sure that you budget for airport days too, so that you can get snacks in the airport, and have meals there. So any other questions that I'm missing?
that's it so far. Yep.
Great. So I did actually take pictures of the ATMs, of some of the ATMs that I encountered while I was there. So this was actually in the airport. This is an ATM that obviously multi-currency ATM. They have the pound, euro, US dollar, and then the Swiss franc as well, which is kind of cool. So there is a charge when you're using these. And so you might be charged both in Ireland or London or wherever you're using this ATM, but also by your own bank at home. So you're going to want to make sure if you have questions about that you touch base with your bank and just ask them what sort of fees are associated with a foreign transaction in a foreign ATM. So that's something maybe to just look into before we go. But they seem pretty easy to use. They're all in English. Looks like they accept a lot of things. This one doesn't look like it accepts American Express, or American Express is not a debit card anyway. It's MasterCard and Visa. Yeah. So, oops, sorry about that.
Do we have the dates yet? Someone asked in the chat. Do we have the?
So we don't have the dates quite yet. Our preferred dates are July 14th through the 24th. Like I said, I've not taken a trip yet where we didn't get the dates that we requested. So just make sure that you keep that window open. I know it's hard as we start to plan into the summertime, but just give yourself a day on either end, just in case those dates move. But shortly, we should be hearing from our EF person and confirming those dates. So there is something called the till card. I just wanted to touch base with you about right now, but I think you'll probably get some emails from EF about this as well. Till card is a credit card for kiddos. It's kind of like a Henry, a Go Henry card, or there are some other cards. Venmo, I think, has a kids card now. It's a kids credit card, essentially, or a debit card, I should say. And EF sponsors it. So I got them for my kids. And what you can do as a parent is control their wallet. So my part of it is on the blue part there, my parent wallet. My child, August, is over on the right side there. Augie got a card. You can also upload it to your wallet on your phone. So you can use it just like Apple Pay if you want to. And then I'm able to put money into their account. So before we went to England, I put money from my bank account into August's till card balance or whatever, transferred it over. And then when we got to England, he had money and he could spend it just like a credit card. He could swipe it. I think if he wanted to, he probably could have gotten money from the ATM, but I didn't try that. I should have, and I didn't think to do that. There's no international finance fees if you're using it overseas. The unfortunate part about it when it comes home is that there are fees, finance fees, if you use it in the United States, because it's really meant to be an international card for travel. So that part's a little bit annoying, especially since my kids are still trying to use it to like buy Legos and stuff from Amazon. Like, stop using the card. You're getting finance charges. But the nice thing about this is that like I could put more money in from wherever I was, and I knew that he was going to get it, and I could see it in real time. So Henry, when he was like, buying a coffee, or not a coffee, a hot cocoa at Starbucks or whatever at the Tower of London, every time he made a purchase, it popped up on my phone. So I could see what he was spending. I could see how much money he had left. If I thought he needed more money, I could put it in there. I found that it took a couple of days to transfer the money. I'm not sure if that's typical. I was brand new to this card, but it was super easy. If you don't know how your kiddo is going to manage money while they're on this trip, if your kiddo is traveling independently, if the parent's not going on this trip, this might be something to think about and to look into. I found it to be pretty easy. I do really like how I can see everything that's happening through my parent portal on there. I know that EF is probably going to be sending emails to you personally just to be like, here's the till card, use it, yay. So feel free to look into it. I used it. I was a guinea pig. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. You can set it up to auto reload as well if you want to. I didn't really do that now because the finance fees, but anyways, yeah, so I'll probably keep it. I don't think there's a charge really to just keep it and sort of keep it hanging out until the next time we travel abroad. So anyways, there's my take on the till card. So if you get an email from EF, that's what that is. It's easy, and it's something that you might think about if you're going to give your kid money, or it's essentially just like a credit card. It has protections on it. It's insured, all of those things. So anyways, so I did want to mention tipping just so that you can prepare for that ahead of time, so it's not a surprise when it finally comes down to it. So I am going to be collecting tips at the June in-person meeting. And that meeting is probably either going to be at Hoover or in the Syracuse office. I haven't decided yet. It really depends on who's using the property at the time. But Our suggested tip amount is going to be somewhere between 110 and 120 per person in US dollar or Venmo. I have a Venmo account as well. And as I mentioned before, the money that we are collecting for tips is going to be used on this, the tour director, which is about $6 to $8 per person per day, our bus drivers, and our local guides. I don't know right now with our numbers if we're going to have a single bus or a double bus. That's has not been determined yet. So if we have a double bus, we will have 2 tour directors. If we have a single bus, we will have just the 1 tour director. But each bus, you're not going to get double charged for the tipping. Each bus is just going to separate the tip money between the buses. That's typically how it works. So that's that. I'll touch base about this a little bit closer as well. And I'll be able to give you a final number once we get closer to our trip as well. So there's that. Any questions in the chat I haven't been paying attention to?
Nope, you're good.
Great. So I do have something else that I wanted to mention. It's a new requirement for entry into the United Kingdom. This came into effect in January of this year. You don't need to do anything for this right now. As we get closer to our dates and when our dates are confirmed, that's when we're going to start to think about this. So the next slide is a whole ton of words, but don't worry about it yet. Because like I said, we don't have to do anything right now. We are going to be required to apply for an electronic travel authorization. It's very easy. There's a website. We have to complete it. We have to probably upload things like our passport information, our hometown, et cetera, et cetera. And it costs about $13 in order to do it. So this is not something that EF is going to be doing for us. This is something that each individual traveler is going to have to do prior to getting onto the plane. So if you don't have this done, you will not be able to travel with us. This has to be done prior to our trip, prior to us stepping foot in the airport. Like I said, you don't have to worry about it right now because we don't have our dates confirmed yet. So we'll have plenty of time. Maybe we'll do it all together in a meeting, actually, and kind of work our way through it. But there's a lot of how-tos, there's a lot of tutorials, and it'll be fine. So anyways, like I said, there's a lot of words on this page. Don't worry about it now, but this is upcoming for our trip. And then last but not least, here's my always at the end of every meeting that we have. Start the process now. Only about 6 of you have passports in the system right now. Start your process now. Your passport info is due in your account by around March 15th-ish, give or take. It is 110 days prior to our trip. So I asked Siri what 110 days before July 14th was, and he said March 27th. So I'm going to say March 15th, just to give us a little wiggle room. But after the 110 deadline, after about March 15th-ish, it becomes a little bit more difficult to enter information, and it costs money if you have to change it. So please, please, please get your passport process started now. If you haven't applied for a passport yet, if you're new to the passport system, do it now. Do it this month. Get it in the process of happening, okay? The longer we wait to get all of our passport information into the system, the longer it takes for them to book our flights. They cannot book flights or hotels without passport information. So the longer it takes, the more we will have to wait in order to confirm our flight and hotel details as well. So please, please, please get your passport in now. If you have it, all it takes is to just get your passport, enter the information into your account, and save it, and you're done. So do it. Questions, comments, concerns. Our next meeting is February 2nd, 2025 on Groundhog Day. Hopefully, wait, what's the good one? Where he doesn't see a shadow or where he does?
Does, right? Does
that mean there's summer?
No,
soon?
does it? I don't know. I'm not
Either
sure.
one. Let's hope he does the good one.
Yeah.
So summer comes quicker. And that's it. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about any of the stuff we chatted about? How many are going? So,
yeah, go ahead.
yep, we have 30 travelers right now. Down a little bit. We've lost about 8 or so over the last month and a half. So don't drop out. Come with us. Hold on strong. Tell your friends. Oh, good job, Kronlund. That's harder to say than I thought it was going to be. Kronlund. I'll say it fast. Anyways, good job. I do have I do have room for more if people want to add on. Yep. But the longer it goes, the more expensive it gets. So if you do have folks that are interested in coming, I just had Alyssa, Austin's grandma, signed up like last week. So that was super awesome. And then I know I have not Deb, somebody else who's like bestie just signed up right before Christmas as well. And I got the email and I was like, yay, people are still signing up. So very exciting. But the longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to be. So do it now if you want to have people come with you. Yay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We are so excited as well. I'm happy to finally be in trip year. Yay. All right. Like I said, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, fingers crossed for an early summer. Oh my gosh. Yes, Catherine. I should have mentioned, oh my gosh, I should have mentioned that. I don't even have cookies on my brain right now, which is weird because I just got my panda shirt in the mail to wear to Cookie Wow at the most this upcoming weekend. So very excited about Cookie Wow. There are still spaces if you want to go. I am going to be setting up Travel Troop cookie booth. So I'm not going to be, I've got to double check and make sure, maybe Sarah knows the answer to this. I'm going to be relying on cupboards this year for cookies. So what I'm going to do, I'm the troop leader in the eBuddy system. So as usual, if you've done this with me before, what I'll do is I'm going to send out a, hey, do you want to do a cookie booth? If so, where's the closest Walmart to you? And what are your preferred days and times? We also do them at like Joann Fabrics. We do them at some Empower Federal Credit Unions. Lowe's, yeah. There's other various places. Hopefully Burn Dairy. We're going to be trying some new different places this year. Fingers crossed. So I'm going to send out an email with all that information separately. And then you just have to let me know if you're interested. And I'll start sending out like, here are the booths I have. First come, first serve. Let me know when you want to do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You also can set up booths on your own. I just need a little bit of information from you so that I can put it in the eBuddy system, and then it will pop up in the cookie finder. So if you have one that you know that you want to do, just let me know and I'll set up the booth for you so that you can do them.
Tractor Supply is a good location too. They've been very kind as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you are going to sell cookies, if you're part of a traditional troop and you want to sell cookies with your troop and expect to use some of the money for your trip, just make sure that you have a conversation with your troop leaders, just to touch base with them and make sure that it's okay. Because as we're selling cookies for the travel troop, it's individual, right? So the money that you're selling these cookies for is going to your trip through your account. When you sell with your traditional troop, you're selling as a troop, and those are troop funds. So just make sure that you're touching base with your troop leader and talk with your other troop mates and that sort of thing to make sure that that money can be used for the trip instead of troop activities that you might be normally using it for. So anyways, I will send it out and I'll let you know, and then just let me know if you want to do booths and when and where, and we're going to get it done. Yay. It's a great way to earn money for the last little bit of the trip. The other thing is that if you sell cookies and your trip is paid off or close to getting paid off, what's going to happen is EF will send you a refund check, essentially, that you can use on your trip, or you can use whatever to pay yourself back for cookie sales. So if you're paid off, or if you're close and you're like, I don't know if I want to sell cookies, do it anyways. You might pay for your tip. You might pay for souvenirs. You might be paying for your lunches. It's a great way to earn just a little bit of extra money to pay for some of those ancillary things on your trip that you haven't thought of yet. So anyways, thank you very much, Catherine, for reminding me about that, because it's super important and I totally forgot. I'm not in cookie mode yet. I'm trying to like get rid of all the Christmas cookies that are still in my house. So I'm trying not to think about Girl Scout cookies, but Girl Scout cookie season starts on Saturday. Woo! Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Great. Then I will see you on February 2nd. And yes, not seeing shadow. Good, 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 good. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. And I'll see you in a month.
Bye.
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 Bye, bye, bye.